What's up guys, it's Pizza here. This video is about Royal Guard Instant / PvE build after the recent patch. I'll try to cover everything from stats, Aeisr, skills, equipments, and include some tips as well. And also feel free to adjust anything based on what's available on your account. And without further ado, let's dive right in. First, let's start with skill distribution. We'll just take note of the important parts since some skills are self-explanatory. So level 10 Spear Quicken only, since the auto attack increase will not add any damage to instant slash. However, max out Spear Mastery since the attack increases by 20 for every level. Divine Protection to reduce poison, dark, and undead damage taken by 10%. And since this is a PvE build, don't put any points into Reflect because it's kind of useless against monsters. So instead put the remaining points to Providence, for 10% demon and holy damage reduction party buff. And then max out Overbrand since this is where instant slash is based from. Shield of Defense to increase attack depending on defense and magic defense. And the rest of the points to Prestige, to reduce monster attack when auto guard is successful. Now for master skills, it all depends on your Zenny budget, so just adjust accordingly based on the cost of upgrading. So the first skill progression will be level 3 instant slash, level 1 honor challenged, and then level 1 amulet counter to unlock seize the chance, which I recommend to prioritize until at least level 5 since a lot of damage modifiers comes from this passive skill. And then proceed to amulet counter level 3, or ideally max it to level 5 since it increases survivability and also DPS, and then raise instant slash to level 5, but don't expect much damage increase since it only adds around 80k damage per skill level. And after that, prioritize to max out seize the chance first before finally maxing out instant slash. As for honor challenged, it's optional if you want to increase the level to maybe around 3 or 4 since it only increases auto taunt chance, but it's very useful against MVPs. Now for Prepare for Elite, put in Endure, Spear Quicken, Auto Guard, Providence, Battle Chant, and then Inspiration. So a tip for instant slash, it's easier to kite or move around when using the instant slash skill. As you can see, compared to when using auto attack, it kinda locks you in place no matter how much you try to move. Hence the reason why I prefer using the skill, so it's easier to reposition. But still put auto attack on your skill bar just in case you get silenced, run out of SP, or can't cast because of the cast delay after buffing with PvE. That way you can still deal some damage using auto attack while waiting for the cast delay or debuff to wear off. So notably, auto attack damage increase from equipment or cards will not add to the damage modifier anymore when using the skill. However, you can use skill damage increase instead. Now moving on to Aeisr. Prioritize Overbrand Enhance since instant slash damage is based from this skill. Inspiration for extra attack and magic attack. And then Retribution and Power to increase attack, which I think refers to the attack only, so the damage to undead, demon, neutral, and holy is not included. After that, get Ignored Def. Spear Mastery, Endure Unlimited, Taunt Alert, and then Taunt AoE. As for Sustain, get Dying Recovery for huge bonus healing, and then Furious Rage and Furious Rage CC Immunity to remove certain statuses and grant temporary immunity up to 4 seconds. Lastly, put some into Def % for extra attack because of Shield of Defense. Now for Guild Blessing, prioritize on the following. For red, ignore defense, pen, and then attack. For blue, I recommend damage reduction and then magic damage reduction. After that, you can also increase Def % and magic Def % to benefit Shield of Defense. And then for yellow, increase wind, fire, and water damage since RG can use elemental converters. Now, before we move to stats allocation, I recommend first consuming Meal Bees and Awakening Potion, then buff Prepare for Elite to maximize the stats you can allocate. First, put RG just until you reach 480% attack speed to maximize the damage boost from Seize the Chance. Then max STR and Int to increase Overbrand's damage, since instant slash is based on it. Then allocate points into luck until crit is divisible by 5, since Seize the Chance grants 1% damage per 5 crit. And then allocate the rest into Vit for extra survivability, or if you want to go pure damage, put it all on luck instead. Now the damage modifiers are as follows. Now for equipments. Again, feel free to adjust anything depending on what's available in your account, or if you have a lot of Zenny for much better cards. For item synthesis, just make sure if it actually gives you a damage boost, since for footgear and accessories you only get the extra stat boost if they're plus 15. But it's different for offhand, armor, and garment since they give bonuses per refine, so be sure to check each one. For offhand, prioritize getting at least plus 10 Shield of Naga, since at tier 8, it greatly boosts Overbrand's damage multiplier. For enchant, aim for armor breaking. As for card option, mark card for Oracle Dungeon to avoid being frozen. Staunch armor for additional Overbrand damage. However, plus 12 Rift armor with attack and magic attack is also fine, as the damage difference isn't that huge when compared to plus 10 staunch armor. For enchant, aim for morale or status resist, so you can also use it for PvP. For card option, you can use Heart card if you don't have Munak Star card yet. Extra tip, use Meteorite armor for switching in Oracle Dungeon, so that 100% stun resist is achievable to be stun immune from Lowly and Ox. For garment, plus 12 Rift with Ignore defense is fine, since the damage difference compared to plus 12 Ancient Cape is not that huge. For enchant, aim for PDI or status resist, and then Dullahan card for additional Overbrand damage and fire damage reduction. As for rune boots, I'm only using this for bonus healing for extra sustain, so other options are plus 12 Rift boots since the attack difference is just 1%, or Wolf Grandma slippers which gives 4% Ignore Def and 3% PDI if it's plus 12, but it's limited to specific classes only. For enchant, aim for PDI or status resist. For card option, you can use Familiar Star card to increase magic attack, and then Fallen Bishop card for Ponape Museum 3F or in PvP. As for accessories, it's fine to use Rift since it's a good way to reach 100% Ignore Death for brave runs. Other options are Eye of Dullahan for 10% magic attack, or Fire Ninja Shinobi for 2% melee attack and 4% PDI. For enchants, it's best to aim for Sharp Blade. Zipper Bear card for attack and magic attack increase, since again Overbrand scales with magic attack. For card options, if you want max damage output in specific monsters, Mao Guai against Ghost, Santa Pouring against Dark, Anacondak against Poison, and then Scarecrow against Undead. Spearfish Pike Star, as it increases Overbrand damage with each refine, and its combo effect with Shield of Naga for another 10% Overbrand damage. For enchant, it's best to aim for Ignore Death. And as for card, it's fine to use Double Minorous with Depot to activate Insight for 20% Ignore Death, since Drake Star card doesn't really give that much damage increase against large monsters. Another card option is Maple Fairy Isma, if you want quick and solid Ignore Death. Now for headgears, just adjust it accordingly if you prefer using auto attack over the instant slash skill. So Bashful Moment for damage to monsters and MVP, inlaid with Andre Star card for pen and Ignore Death. Another headgear option is White Knight Helm for MVP only. Mr. Scream to increase physical attack. Alternative is Face King or Lucky Glasses if you want more Ignore Death. Shadow Dragon Cub for 4% PDI and attack. Alternatives are Bone and Mouth for 3% pen, or Love You for 5% Ignore Death. Nibelian Star is the best back gear for now. Alternative is Thunder Tycho, since using instant slash can also trigger Encourage buff. The only issue is that it takes a while to gain a stack, and if you don't have both, you can use damage % back gear instead. Lastly, Ice Ridge Sculpture for 3%, Ignore Death, and a chance to reduce target's defense by 3%. As for equipment memory, go for Ignore Death first line, since based on some players, the minimum Ignore Death for legend instances is around 140% and max at 170%. And then for the second line attribute, just adjust it on your preference. I use Def % and Magic Def % for extra damage from Shield of Defense, or you can go for defensive attributes for PvP purposes. And that's all for this video, guys. My Royal Guard instant slash PvE build. If you want more tips or instance run samples, you can check out my other videos. And if you have a question, feel free to comment it down below. And also don't forget to like or subscribe to stay tuned for more. See you guys next time, and thank you for watching.